يوم الحساب, day of judgment. طيب, now Allah will judge the khalaiq. The word khalaiq is singular, plural of khalq. Plural of khalq. طيب, Allah will judge the creation. Okay, now hisab are two types. Hisab are two types. One Prophet said in the hadith, من نوقش بالحساب يحلق. في رواية يعذب. That whoever is reprimanded regarding his hisab will be punished. So when Aisha heard that hadith, she said, hadith Bukhari Muslim, she said, Ya Rasulullah, didn't Allah say, فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا وَيَنْقَلِبُ إِلَى أَهْلِ مَسْرُورًا, that the hisab will be easy for them and they will happily return to their family, the wives in Jannah and your palace, everything. Prophet said, yes, but this is a hisabul ard. That's for the believers, the righteous. And there's hisab munaqasha, that's for the non-Muslims. Maybe the fusaq, the sinners. So hisabul ard. Hisab al-ard means that Allah Azza wa Jal will call a righteous man and who made tawbah to Allah, never exposed his sin. Allah will call this slave righteous man. You know, someone righteous doesn't mean he can fall into major sin. He can fall into major sin. He made tawbah to Allah and he came back, and he never exposed his sin. Allah accepted his tawbah. Allah will call him and Allah will speak to him. And Allah will say to the slave, oh my slave, you committed that major sin. Okay, why major? Minor sins are removed by your salawat, good deed anyway. Which were major sins. You committed this major sin, okay? You made tawbah to me, okay? And you have never exposed your sin. Exposing your sin, major sin, is a major sin itself. It's like doing it. Yadu billah. You know, you parading your major sin, a'udhu billah. Tayyib. So Allah will say, I've forgiven you today because you've kept your sin hidden. So go to Jannah. Allah Azza wa Jalla will not say in front of anyone. Allah will say it all between him and Allah. Allah will not expose him because he did not expose his sin. Allah never exposed anyone's sins. Allah wants to keep it hidden. Okay? So, even look at this. If a believer commits a major sin, if he keeps it hidden, or say someone committed adultery, and for someone who committed adultery, for him to get lashed or stoned to death, you need 4 witnesses. Unless the person confessed himself. But the reason I'm mentioning this hadith is that Allah Azza wa Jalla is not here to expose the person. But the human being, if they want to expose him, there is 4 witness, righteous person, witness the act took place. What is the guarantee that they will see it? Nobody can guarantee that. Nobody can. Only Allah knows. And if Allah knows, Allah is not going to expose him if he doesn't expose his sin. If he makes tawbah, Allah accepts his tawbah. Look, Allah still wants to keep his sin hidden. Allah commanding, get 4 witness. But Allah knows if he done it or not. But among yourself, you don't know if he has done it or not. You bring 4 witness. You can't prove that. And if that is the case, he did the act of zina, but only Allah knows, Allah will not expose him if he makes tawbah to Allah. Khalas, end of the matter. But if one of the 4 retract his word, comes back, then 4 of them is lashed. 4 of them is lashed. Okay? So, look how Allah wants to keep the slave hidden. So it shows that the Sharia said, if someone accused someone of a zina, you don't just get the man and start lashing him. La akhi. 4 witness. Bring the 4 witness actually saw the act. Even if he done it, but have we seen it with 4 witness? Has 4 witness seen that? No. If he has done it, if he makes tawbah to Allah, khalas, he's forgiven. Allah is not going to expose him. But can you see that? Islam not here to, humiliate a person, No, nothing to do with that. So Allah Azza wa Jal will judge a slave, a believer. Allah will remind him his major sin that he has done. and Allah Azza wa Jal will say to the slave, you've committed the major sin, you've made tawbah, you never exposed your sin, so go to Jannah. That's al-ard. Prophet saying to Aisha, فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا. Okay? Hisab will be eased. وَيَنْقَلِبُ إِلَىٰ أَهْلِ مَسْرُورًا. And Allah will say, go enter Jannah. Go back to your family in happiness. But the other one, munaqasha, is referring to the non-Muslims. Okay? They'll be punished. They'll be reprimanded. But among them can be a fusaq, a person never worshipped Allah, lived his life sinning. Ya'udhu billah. He could be one of those. Get punished. طيب? So Allah Azza wa Jal is mentioned that the two types of hisab. Okay? The ulama have mentioned. وَيَخْلُو بِعَبْدِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. The slave of Allah will be front of his Lord. He will acknowledge his sins that he has committed. That's what we were talking about, the ard. Hisab al-ard. كما وصف ذلك في الكتاب والسنة. So this type of hisab is mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah, and Hadith explains it. Now, أما الكفار فلا يحاسبون محاسبة من توزن حسنته وسيئة. As for the kuffar, there is no reckoning for them. They have no good deed. They must have done good deed, but in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal, haba'an mansura. It means you'll be demolished. You'll be not accepted from them because the kuffar, the good deed are not valid in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah said, فَلَا نُقِيمُ لَهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَزْنًا. Surah Al-Kahf, ayah 105, that Allah is talking about the mushrikun, the shirk they commit, the sins they commit, they disbelieved in Allah, they disbelieved in His sign and all that. Allah is talking about non-Muslim. Allah said, we will not set a balance for them Yawm al-Qiyamah. Meaning we will not judge them. Okay? We will not judge these people because they have no good deed. They're disbelievers. So they will not be judged. That's one of the opinions. I think that's the most authentic one. They will not be judged. Now, there's another opinion which says that the non-Muslim will be judged. Okay? And their judgment is that they will be informed of good deed. You have done this good deed. And then that's it. Khalas. Leave it to that. You know? So, can you imagine all this good deed they have done? So when we see, we might see non-Muslim doing good deed, helping the community, whatever, fundraise, whatever they're doing, this good deed may be good in this dunya, in the sight of the human being, but, in the sight of Allah, there will be nothing. Haba' mansura. Okay? وَقَدِمْنَا إِلَى مَا عَمِلُوا مِنْ عَمَلٍ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا. Talking about those who are not believers, that we have brought forward what they have done from the action and we have made them dust. Subhanallah, we have made them dust. They have no faith. وَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالْإِيمَانِ فَقَدْ حَبِطَ عَمَلُهُ. That whoever disbelieves in their faith, they have no faith, all the good, every action is nullified from them. طيب? So, some of the scholars have said that non-Muslim will be judged, they will be just informed. It will be just told that you've done this good deed. And then khalas, after that, book will be closed. Nothing for them. طيب? So for action to be accepted by Allah, person has to be a believer. He needs to have mukhlis, he needs to have tawheed of Allah, and he needs to do the action from the Quran and the Sunnah. طيب. So we're talking about, my brothers, we've covered hisab, types of hisab, inshallah. And now we go to continue with the kalam of Shaykhul Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. But here, Shaykhul Islam says that he brings the opinion, وَلَكِنْ تُعَدُّ أَعْمَالَهُم. The action will be counted, okay, فَيُقَفُونَ عَلَيْهَا وَيُقَرُّ بِهَا. You'll be shown to them, they'll acknowledge their good deed, and that's it, khalas. That's all. This is the action, this is what you have done. Yes, I've done this, kaza. Yes, khalas. End of the story for them. That's one of the opinions. But the first opinion, which is, they will not be judged. They will not be judged, and we'll explain later on, inshallah. طيب وفي عرصات القيامة الحوض مورود للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ماؤه أشد بياض من اللبن وأحلى من العسل وآنيته عدد نجوم السماء طوله شهر وعرضه شهر من يشرب منه شربة لا يظمأ بعدها أبدا. Now, وفي عرصات القيامة. Arasat is from Arasa, which means a valley, open valley, wide open valley. There's no tree or building, it's open land. وفي عرصات القيامة, when they're standing on the open valley, الحوض مورود للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Hawd is a river. The hadith says, for every prophet, there is a hawd, is a river, a pond. Every prophet has it. طيب, obviously the hawd of the Prophet is bigger than anyone. Okay? Allah said, إِنَّا أَعْطَيْنَاكَ الْكَوْثَرِ. Indeed, O Muhammad, we have given you Al-Kawthar. This hadith brings that Prophet was so happy about it, and he's telling his companions. And he said, tell them, I have been given something huge, that I've been given by Allah, Al-Kawthar, Yawm Al-Qiyamah. He was happy about it. So he's telling the companion. So Prophet said that Al-Hawd, it is a nahr, it's a river that Allah has granted me Yawm Al-Qiyamah, Jannah. طيب? So Al-Kawthar here mean khayrun kathira. Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar. Indeed, we have given you Al-Kawthar, O Muhammad. One tafsir said Al-Kawthar ma'ana khayrun kathir. Lot of good things good Allah given him. Another hadith says, another opinion says, Kawthar is a pond Allah gave it to Prophet. So people went to Sa'id bin Jubayr, and they're saying to Sa'id bin Jubayr, a student of Abdullah ibn Abbas, okay, Sa'id, and they say, yeah, Sa'id, some say Kawthar is a pond which given to Prophet, and some say Kawthar is a khairun kathir, lot of khair, lot of good. He said, there's no tanaqud, there's no discrepancy in that. Kawthar is from the khairun kathir. Kawthar, the pond, is from the lot of khair, good things. So he basically harmonized the two opinions. So this Kawthar, every believer in Jannah will have hawd. 4 types of hawd, river or pond. Okay? Pond of water, milk, honey, and alcohol. It will be given to all the believers in Jannah. But obviously the hawd of Prophet in Jannah is huge. Okay? From there, it passes on to the other rivers, other ponds. Okay? That's the hawd we're talking about. طيب. So this hawd that Allah gave to Prophet, he describes this hawd, this river, this pond. He describes them. Ma'u ashaddun bayadu min al-laban. That the water is sweeter than honey. Okay? The water, the ma'u, is sweeter than whiter than the laban. The another narration it says that ma'u ashaddu bayadu min al-laban. He said ma'u ri'ahu atyabu min al-misk. That the rih, the smell of the water, is more beautiful than the misk that we wear. Okay? More better than that. طيب. وأحلى من العسل, more sweeter than honey. Okay? And آنيته عدد نجوم من السماء. That the container around the pond is more than the number of stars you have in the heaven. You know, number of stars you have in the heaven, more than that, the containers. Why the containers are there? Cups for people to drink from it. طوله شهر وعرضه شهر. The length is 1 month journey, the width is 1 month journey. من يشرب منه شربة لا يظمأ بعدها أبدا. So hadith says that whoever drinks from it will never get thirsty again. So this hawd we're talking about is a hawd before we enter Jannah. Before we enter Jannah, Ahlul Jannah, they will meet Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay? And you know, there's a hadith when the Prophet said to the Sahabas, I like to meet my brothers. And the Sahaba says, Ya Rasulullah, are we not your brothers? He said, no, you're my companions. You're my companions. My brothers are those who believed me without seeing me. I want to see them. Then the next question comes automatically, Ya Rasul, how do you recognize them? There will be so many people. He said, I will recognize them. The one sifat, the one attribute they will have, sifa. Okay? And that is the face, the limbs, what they made wudu will be glowing. Show the importance of salah. Show the importance of the salah. And those who did not establish the salah, their body will not be shining. Yadu billah. So the people who established the salah, made wudu, their body will be shining. The limbs they wash for the wudu. And they will say, these are my ummah. I can see the body, the limbs are shining now from the wudu. They will be called to come toward the hawd. We brought forward, come and drink from it. Come and drink from it. You're my ummah, come, drink from it. But not every Muslims who prayed 5 times a day, they're Ahlul Hadith. Some of the people with Hadith will be chased away. They will be chased away the way the animal is chased away from the field, crops field, whatever. And Prophet he will see the people from his ummah will be chased away by the angel. The angel knows why they are chasing them away. Prophet doesn't know, he'll be told. Prophet will say, he will say, Ashabi, Ashabi, these are my companions. What are you doing? My followers. Say, Ya Muhammad, they are Muslims, but they are followers, but Malaika will say, Ya Rasulullah, after your death, they committed bid'ah in your deen. They didn't follow you. The Prophet said, Bu'd, be far from me, far from me. Subhanallah, to be chased away from drinking from the hawd. Because of what? Not shirk billah, maybe Allah, but the bid'ah they've committed. They innovated in the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. And they'll be chased away, they'll be humiliated on that day. Subhanallah. And they will not be allowed to drink from that kawthar because of your bid'ah that you have committed. Okay, so shows the danger of bid'ah. Okay, shows danger of bid'ah and also shows its major sin, this bid'ah. So they'll be chased away from it. They will not be allowed to drink from that kawthar. Now also, who are the people who will be drinking from the kawthar? Obviously the believers, people who are upon the Quran Sunnah. I'm not saying that they commit 1 or 2 bid'ah, khalas, they can't drink. No. Ahlul bid'ah, who promote the bid'ah and they parade the bid'ah and they call people to the bid'ah. We're talking about them, not just Muslims falling to bid'ah. La. Inshallah they will be forgiven. But who are the people who will be drinking from this kawthar? All the believers who follow the way of the Prophet ﷺ, but the specific people will be commanded to drink from it first. Prophet will come with a stick, moving the people away. Who are the people? Ahlul Yemen. The Ahlul Yemen will be the first people be allowed to drink from this Al-Kawthar. So this is Arasatul Qiyamah, when we're standing in the valley before you enter Jannah. Now, Shaykh Saleh brings some of the benefit. That's the correct opinion that the hawd is before the Jannah, before the Sirat. So we haven't crossed the Sirat yet. We're going to come to Sirat. We are before going Sirat. We'll speak about that. That's a scary bit. So you got hurdles to go over. A lot of hurdles you have to go. Okay, to enter Jannah. Some of the opinions is that this hawd before the Sirat. Okay, some says this hawd we're talking about after the Sirat, meaning after you cross the bridge, then you see the hawd, which is not the right one. Among them who says that, which is before the Sirat, before and after, meaning that this hawd, pond, pipe is, hadith said the pipe is connected to the pipe in Jannah. So you have it before you cross the Sirat and after you cross the Sirat. The other opinion is that there are 2 hawd, one before and one before you cross the Sirat, after you cross the Sirat. But so that's true. This hawd is before you cross the bridge, and after you enter Jannah, there is another hawd of Prophet. This hawd has pipe connected to the pipe, which is hawd in Jannah. So that's the Arasatul Qiyamah, people regarding the hawd and the pond of Prophet ﷺ, the number, the taste going to be the characteristic of this water. This is what we've covered, alhamdulillah. Moving on. طيب. والصراط منصوب على متن جهنم وهو الجسر الذي بين الجنة والنار يمر الناس عليه على قدر أعمالهم فمنهم من يمر كلمح البصر ومنهم من يمر كالبرق ومنهم من يمر كالريح ومنهم من يمر كالفرس الجواد ومنهم من يمر كركاب الإبل ومنهم من يعدو عدوى ومنهم من يمشي مشيا ومنهم من يزحف زحفا ومنهم من يخطف خطفا ويلقى في جهنم فإن الجسر عليه كلاليب تختف ناس بأعمالهم. طيب. Now we're going to talk about the sirat. Linguistically, sirat, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم, guide us to straight path. Sirat is a path which is a straight path, there is no bend to it. This ayah, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم, that's what sirat we're talking about, straight path. Okay? Which the ulama have explained. A path which is straight, wide, it has no bend to it. That's sirat. This sirat, which is constructed top of Jahannam, maybe it is straight, but it describes in the hadith that it is thin as a hair, sharp as a sword. Thin as a hair, sharp as a sword. Right? Now this is this is the bridge everyone have to cross. So what is it now is that when the people in Qiyam, in Mahshar, okay, after all this happens, Hisab, Arasatul Qiyamah, Mizan, all this happens, okay, the last part of the hurdle is that you cross the bridge. You cross the bridge. Now on that day, there will be three types of people, okay, three types of people. Believers, the munafiqun, the kuffar, the Muslim munafiqun, the kuffar munafiqun, and the kuffar. What's the difference? They're all kuffar, the last two, okay? Believers, okay? And among the believers, the different levels, isn't it? Then you have munafiqun, they're kuffar, and the last one also kuffar. Okay? So the first munafiqun kuffar, they showed Islam, they showed it, they said La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, but they did not believe it. Okay? They are kuffar, but they showed Islam to the Muslim, deceiving the Muslims. Okay? They'll have a punishment. And third type of kuffar, they declare the kufr. Abu Jahl, Abu Talib, Fir'aun, Harun, Haman, Ibn Abi Khalaf. These are kuffar, they've declared the kufr anyway. So nobody, Namrud, Azar, these are kuffar. No one has to tell them they're kuffar. They declared them anyway. So what's going to happen in the Yawm al-Qiyamah, the kuffar will be taken to the hellfire. The kuffar will not cross the bridge. Okay? So the kuffar who worship the idols, so those who worship Fir'aun, you have to follow Fir'aun to the hellfire. Those who worship the sun, they have to follow the sun to the hellfire. Those who worship whatever they worship, they will be thrown to the hell. They follow the aliha to the hellfire. Okay? The narration which is da'if, the malaika will come in the form of the aliha. The malaika will come, angel will come in the form of their god, and they follow that to the hellfire. That's a weak hadith. Shaykh said that. But what is the correct opinion is that shaitan will come in the form of their aliha, form of their god, and they follow the god to the hellfire. Because shaitan calls them to worship the aliha. Shaitan is the one who calls them to worship other than Allah Azza wa Jal. So shaitan will come in their form, whatever they worship, and they follow that to the hellfire. Okay? There will be no kuffar, mushrik, crossing the bridge. Okay? Only the believer and the munafiqun. We'll explain why. So the kuffar, the mushrik, disbelievers, those who call them to worship themselves, like Fir'aun and things like that, they'll be followed to the hellfire. And they'll go in the hell as well at the same time. Take your slaves who worshipped you, go to the hellfire. Okay? If you worship Allah, then go to Jannah. Because you worshipped Allah Azza wa Jalla. You worship the idols and worship the Fir'aun, then their abode is hellfire, go with them to the hellfire. So they will follow them in row, in rank to the hellfire. So they've gone to the hell, okay? Khalas, they finished. Who left now? The believers and the munafiqun. So the believers are three types. Believers among the righteous, Allah mentioned in the Quran, the three types of believers, Muslim, Muhsin, and Allah said, فَمِنْهُمْ ظَالِمُونَ لَنَفْسِهِ وَمِنْهُمْ مُقْتَصِدٌ وَمِنْهُمْ سَابِقُونَ بِالْخَيْرَاتِ. Hadith, these are believers. Among the believers are oppressor to themselves. Among the believers, they've advanced. They are good. Among the believers, they've advanced. So the tafsir says that those are zalimun li nafsihi, they will have difficult hisab. The Muslim, but difficult hisab. Among the believers, they are good. They've done good deed. Muqtasid, they're good deed. They've done good. And among them who advance in good deed, advance, muhsin, advance. The ulama says, the second type, they will have easy hisab, muqtasidun. And those advanced, they will enter Jannah without any hisab. Okay? So, let's leave the munafiqun now. Let's talk about the believers. So, believers are different levels. Okay? So, some of the believers, Ibn Taymiyyah explains, is that يَمُرُّ النَّاسِ عَلَيْهِ عَلَى قَدْرِ أَعْمَالِهِمْ. The people will cross this bridge based on their a'mal, based on their good deed. Okay? Among them will cross the bridge like a blink of an eye. كَلَمْحِ الْبَصَرِ. You know, when you blink your eyes, you can imagine who that person is going to be. Abu Bakr, Umar, you know, blink of an eye. They won't even see the bridge. They won't even know I've crossed the bridge. I'm here because of the good deed they have done. Okay? And Shaykhul Islam said, وَمِنْهُمْ مَا يَمُرُّ كَالْبَرَقِ. Among them will be like the fastest horseman. Fast as a horse. Okay? Among them will be crossing like a rih. طيب? Among them will cross the bridge like a rih. And he explains the different categories. Some of them will be crossing like a running camel. Okay? Some of them will be crawling. Some of them will be going and they'll be falling into the hellfire. Okay? So, what's going to happen is that this bridge has to be crossed. Okay? You have to cross the bridge. And these are believers we're talking about. Okay? We haven't come to munafiqun yet. These are believers. They'll be crossing the bridge according to the a'mal. Okay? If you are righteous, yes, based on action, your action will take you. If you are sinners, committed sin and never made tawbah, maybe you'll be crawling and fire will catch you. Maybe you'll fall into the hellfire. And the Prophet will make shafa'ah for you and you'll take out from the hellfire. Allah knows best. Okay? So these are believers. Now, comes the munafiqun. So munafiqun will be crossing the bridge. Okay? So we're talking munafiqun who showed Islam, but they never believed in Islam. So did they deceive the believers? They deceived it. So Allah will deceive them. Allah will deceive them. And by the way, all these people who are crossing the bridge, okay, they have a nur. Based on your action, you'll have a nur. And munafiqun, Allah will give them nur. And Allah will take the nur away. In the Quran, Allah said to them, Unzuruna naqtabis min nurikum. Wait for us. Let us share your nur. To the believers. Let us share your nur. We had nur, but it's gone now. Please come and give me some nur. Give me some of your light. Your light was fake light. Because it's not a reality. Because you deceived the people in dunya, you'll be deceived now. Okay, what comes back? The believers will say to them, Irji'u wara'akum faltamisu nura. They will say, go back. Go back and look for the nur. We're not going to give you the nur. فَضُرِبَ بَيْنَهُمْ بِسُورٍ لَهُ بَابًا بَاطِنُهُ وَفِيهِ رَحْمَةٌ وَظَاهِرُهُ مِنْ قِبَالِهِ الْعَذَابِ. So, فَضُرِبَ بَيْنَهُمْ بِسُورٍ لَهُ. Between them, it will be separated. Between the believers and the non-believers, the munafiqun. And one side will be separation in rahmah, one is adhab. So it's like it will be separated and the munafiqun will be thrown into the hellfire. They are not believers, they're kuffar, isn't it? Be separated in the bridge. And the munafiqun will never be able to cross the bridge and they'll fall into the hellfire. Now, some might say, Allahu Alam, why on to the hell. If they're munafiqun, why didn't Allah throw them in hellfire at the beginning? Why do they have to go through this? Allah showed them the nur. It's a punishment. Your nur was there, now it's taken away from you. Fear. And we want to deceive you now. You deceive the believers, we deceive you now by giving you nur, but it's not a nur actually. We take away from them and they'll be thrown to the hellfire. Okay? So they'll go through this difficulty. My brothers, so this is the sirat. We'll continue with the sirat inshallah next week. More to come. Jazakumullah khair. Any question inshallah, I'll take it now. Jazakumullah khair. Any clarification you want to clarify? Go on.
So Ustad, when it comes to the ones who don't establish the salah, their limbs are not going to be lightened, right?
Those who did not did not establish salah in dunya, I mean the one Hassan asking about are the munafiqun who established the salah but did not believe in it. Their back will not straighten, will not go down. These are munafiqun. That's what I know. Those who have established the salah, okay, maybe they can go through that as well, Allahu alam. But these two munafiqun, their back will not bend because they worshipped Allah in dunya, showing off. Then they believe it. So their back will not be straightened. These are hypocrites. As for those who never established the salah in their life, Allah alam, if they are Muslims, Allah knows best, even though there are the two opinions, and if they haven't prayed, worshipped Allah, never made ruku to Allah, sajda to Allah, I won't be surprised the Yawmul Qiyamah, how can they make ruku to Allah Azza wa Jal? Makes sense, because you never made ruku to Allah in dunya, you never made sajda to Allah in dunya, how suddenly now you're going to make ruku to Allah? Maybe you will able to make ruku to Allah, sajda to Allah Azza wa Jal. Can be that can be true as well, yeah. Go on.
How come some people will receive their book in left hand, but some will receive behind their back?
Okay, those who receive their book from the left and the back shows they're Ahlul Nar, they're people of the hellfire. Those who receive from the back, meaning that, look, if someone came in front of you, gave you salam, face to face, and someone came behind your back, which one is respect? Which one is respect? Front, isn't it? So to show more hatred, to show more detestful, lowly base, take it from your back. I don't want to come front of you, take it from your back. That's what it means basically. But both things from the hellfire. To show the hatred, detestment of who you are, take your book from your back. We don't want to see your face. It's like that. But both are, A'udhu Billah, from the hellfire, yeah. Go on.
Can the Muslims receive the book on the left, those who believe?
Muslim can receive the book from the left because Muslim can be people of Ahlul Nar. Tayyib? So Muslim, just because someone is Muslim, no one will go to hellfire. No, they will go to hellfire. Hadith is there. Prophet will make shafa'ah for them to bring you out from the hellfire. So if they can receive book from the left because they haven't got enough good deed. Those who receive from the right because they go in Jannah straight away. And their book, the good deed is heavier than the bad deed. Okay? So Muslim can receive book from the left, yes. And they can be punished and they'll be taken out. When the Muslim, they're crossing the bridge, there'll be some falling into the hellfire. Then they'll be taken out later on. And if you want to hold on to it, cut your hand because it's sharp as a sword, thin as a hair. Okay, yeah, inshallah, go on.
There's some people that say, why did Allah create people that He knows they're gonna go Jannah?
Oh, mashallah. This is now Allah Azza wa Jal, first of all, He created us and because He deserves all the worship, and Allah has sent messengers in every nation and He called them to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. So Allah did not, in the hadith, in the Quran Allah said, He said that وَمَا كُنَّ مُعَذِّبٍ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا, that we did not destroy, punish a nation until we sent a messenger. So out of justice, Allah did send a messenger to every nation, calling people to worship Allah. The warner came to them. And like Fir'aun, the Mushk of the Quraysh, they have no reason not to believe in Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah sent a messenger and they directly disbelieved in the message. So they will be punished. So Allah knows He's Allamul Ghuyub. He has knowledge of unseen. He knows. But the question is, if Allah knows, then why did He punishing them? Now, the thing is, that's not the matter. The matter is, Allah Azza wa Jal gave human being aql, intellect, to know from the right and the wrong. Okay? Inna hadaynahum as-sabila imma shakira wa imma kafura. We have guided them to the path. If they accept, or they can reject it. So the people, the mushrik of the Quraysh, time of all the Prophet, the mushrik, they had choice to accept or reject, and they've chose to reject the haqq. They accept to reject the din of Allah Azza wa Jal. It's not Allah's fault. You've decided not to worship Allah. Warner came to you. Okay? Warner came to you. This is a good question. We need to understand that those people will be tortured in the grave or in the hellfire. Allah knew this is going to happen, but also these people had a choice in the matter. They had a choice to obey Allah or disobey Allah, and they want to disobey Allah Azza wa Jal. Like a Muslim can be tortured. Why is this Muslim being tortured? Allah knows he's going to be disobeying Allah, but he decided to disobey Allah. Knowingly. He should be praying, he's not praying. So, so the matter goes back to the individual. Okay? Has the message come to him? Okay? Is he rejecting the faith knowingly? That's the matter. He decided not to obey Allah. Like Iblis, Allah never didn't force him to make sajda to Adam. He decided not to make sajda to Adam alayhi salam. Whose fault is it? It's Iblis' fault. Did Allah knew that? Yes, He knew that. So it's not Allah's fault. It's the fault of the creation. So that's what it is. The matter is, the people have a choice in the matter to worship Allah or not to worship Allah Azza wa Jalla. As for those people, they never received the message from Allah, okay, then they will be tested Yawmul Qiyamah. Allah will send a messenger for them. Allah will not punish them straight away. But the people Allah will not punish a person when he had no knowledge of that thing. Allah will not punish a person who is ignorant. Okay? If a person was ignorant about Salah, didn't know, then he will not be punished. If a person was ignorant that I have to make wudu to pray, he didn't know, he will not be punished for that. Allah will not punish a person, he had no knowledge of that thing. Allah is not oppressor. He will never oppress. He will never do that. But Allah will punish a people who knew the message, messenger came to them, and he knew the truth and he didn't believe it. Or Muslim knew the truth, didn't practice it. Allah will punish those people. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, ikhwan, jazakumullah khair. See you next week, inshallah.
السلام عليكم.